What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiance Season 9, Episode 8, Get Off Your High Horse, the Shaeeda and Bilal review. So, Shaeeda was acting very strange in this episode. She was doing a lot of strange things that I really didn't find believable, but we'll get to that later. So, it's Friday and it's the day of Juma. So, of course, Bilal is expecting her to go to Juma with him. And he looks at what she's wearing and he says, my darling, you look really beautiful, but that's not really the attire for Juma because she had on like a workout outfit. And so she tells him that she's not going to go to Juma because, well, she says she's not going to go to Juma. But she doesn't tell him the real reason why. She just keeps on saying that she doesn't feel like going. Well, the truth of the matter is, Shaeeda is still in her feelings about the conversation they had about having children when they were on the gondola. So she doesn't like the fact that Bilal keeps on tiptoeing around the issue of whether or not they're going to have, whether or not he's willing to have more children with her. And she just wants a clear and straight answer from him, and she's not getting that. So that has gotten her a little bit in her feelings. So this is the reason why she doesn't want to go to Juma. On top of that, she doesn't like how he treated her the last time that they were at Juma. He kind of left her out to dry. He didn't introduce her to anybody other than his ex-wife. He just left her alone. She was just sort of like stuck there alone, not talking to anyone, wandering around aimlessly like a lost puppy because he was mad at her for the incident that happened in the car where she had hit him in the back of the head and he didn't want her to do that. So because of how he treated her and because of the conversation about children, she just wants to be, I guess, the hell away from him. And she just wants to be, in her own space, trying to figure out her own situation. But for some reason, she doesn't tell him this. So instead, she just says, I don't feel like going. And then he kind of looks at her like, excuse me, you're not going to go to Juma? And then she says, in her country, going to Juma every single Friday is not compulsory for women because they may be on their cycle or they may be breastfeeding. And whereas it is compulsory for men to go every single Friday. So I don't understand why she just didn't tell him, I just need my space. We had some conversations. I didn't like how the conversations went. So, you go do your thing. Let me just stay home and figure some things out. I don't know why she just didn't say that. So the law starts saying that it is compulsory for both men and women to learn about their religion, and you learn about your religion through going to Juma. And so she kind of like cuts him off right there. And she says, you know what? You have this way of talking that's like you're lecturing me. And he was like, really? And so, they're talking about that, the way he talks to her, the tone that he uses when he talks to her. And I don't know what he did with his arm. He kind of placed his arm on the armrest of the couch. And she was like, oh, watch out for the pin. So she had stuck a scarf pin in the couch. And he looked at it, he pulls it out, and he was like, what? What are you doing? Why are you sticking pins in my couch? So then he goes on to this whole thing about how the couch is very expensive and you got to take care of it, blah, 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 blah. So Shaeeda dismisses that and she's like, it's not like it's going to deflate. So this is the first thing that Shaeeda does in this episode that I thought was very unusual. Shaeeda doesn't seem like, she doesn't seem like someone who would stick a scarf pin in a couch like that because this was a pretty big pin. It wasn't like a needle that you use for sewing or a push pin. It was a pretty big pin. And she just kind of just jammed it in the arm of the sofa. It doesn't seem like she would do that because she understands the kind of man that she's living with. Because she said that he was OCD. So I don't understand why they would want us to believe that she would do something like that, like stick this pin in the couch like that. That just seemed very far, unless she did it, knowing that if he found out he would be upset, but then she forgot to take it out. Maybe that's what happened. And she was reminded when she saw it there. But I don't know. It just didn't make any sense that she would do that, knowing how crazy he is about his stuff. So he lectures her about, the expensiveness of the couch and so on and so forth. And so moving on from that, we're back to the whole Juma thing. He says in his confessional that the number one reason of why he was so attracted to her was because of her devotion to her religion. So the fact that she doesn't want to go to Juma this one time, I guess, has him concerned. And it's just one time. I mean, Shaeeda does not come across as someone who is questioning her faith at all. She just needs time away from this guy because they're always together. And I guess, after he's done working, he comes home. I don't know. She just needed space. She just wanted to get away from him. And I wish that she just would have said that. But now, because she just said, I don't want to go, now he's thinking that she doesn't care about her faith. So moving on from there, I guess he comes home from Juma, or he comes home from somewhere, and they're in the kitchen. And when he comes in the kitchen, he sees that there's water splashed all over the countertop and water splashed on the floor because she was praying. And before you pray, you have to perform wudu, which is the act of cleansing yourself. And so you wash your hands, you wash your face, and you wash your feet. So I guess in the process of her washing her feet and her hands and all of this, she got water everywhere. Now, this is the second thing that I thought was sort of unusual of Shaeeda. Number one, is there a reason why she's praying in the kitchen? Because it would seem like you would probably go to the bathroom to wash and then go into the living room or your bedroom or something to pray, or maybe have a bucket or something with you to quickly wash and then pray. It just seemed unusual that she would be lifting her foot over the counter or over the sink to wash. That just seemed very strange to me. Maybe I'm missing something, but that's what she did. I guess she was, lifting her foot over the sink to wash her feet, and she got water everywhere. And then it just seems strange also that she wouldn't have cleaned it up right away. Once again, knowing what kind of man she's living with, and you would think that she kind of had an idea of when he would be coming home, or if she didn't know when he was coming home, it would behoove her even more to make sure that everything was spotless. But she just splashed water everywhere and then just left it there. That just seems unusual for anybody to do, because even if you splash a little bit of water, like if you're drinking something and some of the liquid spills or whatever, you clean it up right away. You don't leave all these huge puddles just everywhere in the kitchen. That just seemed completely unlike Shaeeda. Or maybe I don't really know Shaeeda at all. Maybe this is how she is. She's just you know, a pig. She's just messy as hell. Maybe this is how she is, just messy and careless, leaving pins in the couch and splashing water everywhere and not drying it up, not cleaning it up. Maybe this is how she is, but I thought this was just very strange for a grown woman to act like this. Like, why is she washing her feet in the kitchen sink? Anyways, so he comes in and he sees all of this and he's like, what the hell's going on here? So she's like, it's just a little water, like kind of like dismissing it. Just like everything else that bothers him, she just completely dismisses it. And so they start cleaning up, and he lectures her about how water can ruin the wood of the floor, and Shaeeda tells him to stop overreacting. You see, whenever he does things to get her angry like that, she's got the guts to combat him. Like when she told him to stop overreacting about the water, and then when they're having the conversation about the scarf pin that she had put in the couch, she told him the couch isn't going to deflate, don't worry about it. Or when she was hitting him in the back of the head multiple times and she saw how aggravated he was getting, she just kept on doing it. But then when it comes to more important things like the children, she just doesn't speak up. Like, she could have just said to him, I don't want to go to Juma with you because right now I don't like you, because you're not giving me a straight answer on whether or not we can ever have a family of our own. For that, she's really tongue tied, and I just don't understand. And so then next thing he does, he looks into what do they need a fork for? Oh, he brought her something to eat, I think. And so he was getting a fork for her, I think. And so he opens up the drawer for the utensils, and he sees that the utensils are all jumbled up. They're not organized in their designated slots. And so he tells her, we have to keep things organized. The big forks with the big forks, small forks here, spoons here, all of that. And to me, it made sense. That made sense to me. Like, I like to have my big forks and my small forks and my big spoons and my small spoons and my knives all separate in their own assigned spots. I don't see how that doesn't make any sense that she would have just thrown stuff in there all willy nilly. Maybe that's how she is. I'm beginning to learn a lot about Shaeeda in this episode. So she tells him just to relax. Like, it's no big deal, just relax. I think that out of all the things he was upset with, that's the one thing that I totally agreed with. I was totally in agreement with him and those damn utensils because it really irks my nerves when the utensils are all jumbled up together. So then they start talking about him being OCD or whether he's OCD or whether he's just a really neat person. Obviously, she says he's OCD. He says, no, I'm just really neat. So far, to me, Bilal comes across as being very neat, not necessarily OCD, because he doesn't want pins in his couch. He doesn't want water splashed all over his kitchen, and he wants his utensils organized. To me, all of that seems pretty normal. I don't. If he has been OCD, I don't remember, but everything so far, I kind of agreed with Bilal on this one. So. Bottom line, Shaeeda was acting very strange in this episode. I don't know if this was an act to kind of create conflict because nothing was really happening with them this week, or if this is how the whole thing about the water, like the push pin or the scarf pin, I totally get it. Why she would have stuck the pin in there because, it was convenient. And she probably thought she was going to remember to take it out before he saw it. The utensils, okay, that seems kind of strange, but I'll let her have that. But the water, I just don't see her being like that. Just splashing water everywhere and not cleaning it up and washing her feet at the sink. When I'm thinking it'd be more convenient to like wash it in the bathroom or to have a bucket or a container of water. I don't know, y'all. But yeah, Shaeeda seemed really strange to me this episode. Bilal, not so much. He didn't seem strange to me in this episode. He seemed quite normal. Anyway, that is my review of 90 Day Fiance, season 9, episode 8, Shaeeda and Bilal. If you made it this far in my review, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Subscribe if you don't like this content. Don't worry about it. But thank you for stopping by anyway, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.